All right, let's talk about the one thing that's on everybody's mind at work these days, artificial intelligence. Specifically, how is it going to change what we do every day? We're going to break it all down.
I mean, this is it, right? This is the big one. Is some piece of software going to take my job? It doesn't matter if you're a creative, a programmer, a lawyer. This question is hanging over all of us, creating this real sense of uncertainty about what's next. But here's the thing. There is so much noise out there, so many scary headlines. So what we're going to do today is cut right through all of that. We've gone through the research, we've looked at the real data from economists and experts to give you an evidence-based answer to what's actually going on.
So, to really get this, we have to start with the language. People throw around a lot of terms, and honestly, they get mixed up all the time. But the differences between them, they're absolutely crucial.
First up, the one that everyone's afraid of, job displacement. This is the straightforward one. It's when a technology comes in and just eliminates a role. The classic example? Bank tellers. When ATMs showed up, it wasn't to help the tellers. It was to replace a core part of their job, which meant over time, we just needed fewer of them. That's displacement. But then you've got job transformation, and this is a whole different beast, and it's way more common. This is when AI doesn't get rid of the job, it just changes it. Think about a radiologist. AI is now incredible at scanning images and flagging things to look at. But does that replace the doctor? No way. It actually frees them up to spend their brain power on the really tough cases, on talking to patients. It transforms their job into something more valuable.
And that really gets to the heart of it, this difference between automation and augmentation. Automation is a substitute, a robot packing a box instead of a person. But augmentation, that's a collaboration. It's AI writing a first draft of an email so that you, the employee, can perfect it and send it off in half the time. So the key question is always, is this new AI a substitute or is it a collaborator? The answer completely changes the outcome.
Now, this feeling of panic about new technology, it's not new. Not at all. In fact, if we look back at history, we can see a pattern that might give us a clue about what's happening right now.
Every single time, the story is pretty much the same. The Industrial Revolution got rid of hand wavers, but it created a massive new world of factory work. Cars, well, they made horse and buggy drivers obsolete, sure, but they also created millions of jobs building and selling and fixing cars. And the Computer Revolution, it wiped out jobs like typists, but it also created more than 19 million new tech jobs just in the US. But, and this is important, today is a little different. AI is the first technology that's really coming for cognitive work, the kind of thinking jobs we always thought were safe.
So that brings us right back to the big question. What is the real risk here? It's time to pull back the curtain and look past the scary headlines to what the numbers actually say. Okay, so back in 2013, this huge study came out of Oxford University, and it sent a massive shockwave everywhere. The conclusion? A mind-blowing 47% of all jobs in the United States were at high risk of being automated. Almost half. But wait, just a couple of years later, another major group, the OECD, took a look and came back with a totally different number. Not 47%, just 9%. So what happened? How could you expert groups be so incredibly far apart?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, and it's brilliant. That first study looked at entire job titles, but the second, newer study did something much smarter. It looked at the individual tasks inside of every job. They realized that even a job that seems high risk, like an accountant, is full of tasks that need human creativity, judgment, and communication. And once you look at it that way, task by task, the picture shifts from mass job elimination to widespread job transformation.
Which brings us to the very latest forecast from the World Economic Forum. They project that by 2030, AI is going to help create 170 million new jobs. At the same time, it's going to displace about 92 million. Now, do the math. That is a net gain of 78 million jobs, which is great. But, and we have to be honest here, 92 million displaced jobs is a massive, massive amount of change and a potentially very difficult transition for millions of people.
So, let's get specific. Who's going to be most affected by this massive shift? Let's break down which jobs are feeling the heat and which are in a pretty good spot. You can see a really clear pattern here. The jobs with the most repetitive, predictable tasks, they're at the highest risk. We're talking data entry, basic customer service, admin support. But on the other hand, jobs that require creative problem solving, a ton of emotional intelligence, or complex physical work, think plumbers, doctors, therapists, they are at a much, much lower risk of being automated away.
And if you want to see what real-world displacement looks like, just look at Amazon. They have something like 750,000 robots in their warehouses. And the data's clear. The warehouses that use a lot of robots have about 25% fewer human workers. They're on track to avoid hiring over 160,000 people pretty soon. That's a textbook example of automation substituting for human labor.
But now let's look at the complete opposite, augmentation. The Mayo Clinic started using AI to help analyze their medical scans. The AI does the easy, routine stuff, which lets their top-notch radiologists focus on the really tricky cases. And get this, since they brought in AI, their radiology staff has actually grown by over 50%. By making their experts better and faster, the demand for their skills went through the roof. Okay, so this brings us to the most critical part of this whole discussion. What can you do about all this? How do you make sure you're the Mayo Clinic radiologist and not the displaced worker? This is your action plan. If you want to stay not just relevant but essential in your current job, here are 4 steps. First, be honest and assess your role's risk. There are tools online for this. Second, don't wait. Become an early adopter of the AI tools showing up in your industry. Third, get the basics down. Take a course on AI literacy so you know what it can and can't do. And finally, double down on the skills that make you human.
Now, on the technical side, don't panic. You probably don't need to learn to code. For most of us, the single most important new skill is going to be prompt engineering, which is just a fancy way of saying learning how to ask AI the right questions to get what you want. And yeah, knowing how to look at data and make sense of it is also going to be huge because AI is about to give us a ton more of it. But really, your true advantage, your superpower in the age of AI, is going to come from the things that machines just can't do well. Coming up with truly new ideas, leading a team, building trust with a client, making a tough call in a messy, ethical gray area. These soft skills are now the hard skills. They are becoming more valuable every single day. And that really is the bottom line here. The future isn't about humans versus machines. It never was. It's about humans with machines. The people who are going to win, the ones who will thrive, are those who learn how to wield AI as a powerful tool to amplify their own unique, irreplaceable human skills. So at the end of the day, the question isn't whether AI is coming for your job. The world of work is changing, and it's changing faster than ever. The only question that really matters is this: what are you going to do to change with it?